If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option, as Sori says. $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at villageXchange@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
They do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
This song
You want...
is called The Committee, Catherine's Chant. Let's go.
I like this. I can't stop thinking about what River said.
Whoa. tremolo picking, man. Yes! Blast beat with the tremolo picking. Inspiring as hell, bro. Let's go! Yes, Pinky!
Wow. That was really good.
Wow. This
That was
song,
really good.
This song is the reason why black metal is my favorite genre. Nobody can do a tremolo featured blast beat like a black metal band.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And there's something deeply inspiring about when they go on those runs, man. When they go on those runs, man, it's inspiring as hell. This was 275's pick.
Yeah.
It was a Middle Earth.
Yeah, this is part of their crew. They started.
So the agents of what is it? Adiago, whatever.
Yeah.
Good selection, guys.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
I really think for me that black metal is just depends on the night, because I think there. Do you think that this is a song? I loved this song, but do you think that if there's another night where I would have said I hated it? Because I don't. Is it black and death metal that I don't usually like?
I don't know.
I'm not a fan of the as much as you are. Like,
yeah, you're not a big Batushka person.
Right.
You're not
I
a big.
I didn't know if it was okay to just slam them like that, but yeah, Batushka. There's that other one that you love. It's a short Magua.
Magua is
like
probably my favorite band. Period.
This though was really good.
That's not named Korn.
I don't know if the video was necessary. I couldn't look at it. We gotta know our own mental
Limits
health and where it's at, and I couldn't look at
lots
that.
of jihad.
Yeah.
This is man. It's just
this is really good. And go ahead.
I just loved the way it was so cool because Tina was dropping some facts about, like, for example, there's one battle where the Russians lost more people than the entire Allied forces did in the entirety of the war.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they did a lot of the heavy lifting. That Hitler conversation that we had where he was trying to get that guy, like, that was because the Russians, like, they were fucking him up.
Oh.
So, shout out to Russia. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, like, you know, we became mortal enemies after World War II because the world was so destroyed that, you know, we're running for supremacy. But at the end of the day, we got into the war late. They paid the heaviest prices, and they did the vast majority of the heavy lifting. And honestly, when you look at what was going on at that time period, like back home in Russia, things of that nature, it made the communist revolution almost inevitable at that point. Almost inevitable at that point. Because those people lost way too many people for them to just go back to normal. Like, something cataclysmic had to happen after that. So, shout out to Russia. Hitler was an idiot, thank God, for trying to fight a two-front war. We did. But, you know, a little bit different.
In darkness, I'm buried in sorrow and despair. The silence, awareness sharpened, I see the seconds dragging by. Clenching the fingers tightly, counting remaining rounds, I pray for my woman and my child. I smell the fear around me, embraced in leather bounds. I hope my body's never found. Okay, I didn't know what the leather bounds was, and didn't really understand why he didn't want his body to be found. Assuming that it's because it would be so tore up that he didn't want his family to see that?
Yeah, probably.
But do they show that to the family?
Well, maybe he's not talking about the family. Maybe he's talking about the bad guys. Maybe he thinks that the bad guys are going to desecrate his body.
Oh.
So,
what are the leather bounds? What's that?
I don't know. Maybe that's their gear. Leather pants. Yeah.
Leather pants? Okay. God. I can't even imagine running around in leather pants.
I hope my body's never found. Yeah, that's... I had a guy who was scared to death of having his body desecrated.
Really?
He was terrified. And this guy was like... He's
so
still alive.
interesting.
He's still alive, but he was a gangster. Like, he was not afraid of anything. As far as, like, when shit got kinetic, like, he was...
Not scared. Why did he care about his body after he died?
People are weird. People are just strange. Like, I'm like, what? I don't care.
So interesting.
I'm like while you were alive? He's like, no. Like, if I'm dead, and I'm like, okay.
I mean, I think it's gross when you see like a body and the person's kicking a body that's already down. I think that's gross. Like, it makes me feel sick. But I really don't care. Like, in the long run, I just don't want to wake up from my death in a casket or something like that. I'm not good with that. But if you were gone away and they didn't find your body, but they were like, oh no, he's gone. I can't, no.
Yeah. I understand that, but
even if they said, sorry, you should not look.
I was in a debate with this guy, and I said, well, if you were dead, I wouldn't go back and get you. It's ridiculous. You're dead. Mm-hmm. Like, hell no. I'm like, if I go down there and it's clear that I'm dead, like, leave. I'm out. I'm done.
I'm even further than you. I'm like, if I'm close and it doesn't look like I'm gonna leave me there, don't put your people in danger for that.
Well, yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're at war, obviously, like in real life, I would never do that. But like in war, it's different. Mm-hmm. Everything's different. Mm-hmm. But it was this big giant argument, and it was like,
because he wanted you to go back there and get him.
Well, his thing was, I'm going back no matter what. What I'm saying is, like, you're thinking like a soldier. Like, we're not that, right? Mm-hmm. We are, whatever. So we don't think that way. It's all about efficiency and whatever. By the time, if we got into that's very bad. That means you didn't do your job. Yeah. I'm like, so what? I'm like, you're too emotional. We got into a fight over it.
That's so funny because I think
He's like, too emotional.
That's so funny because if I was in a situation where people had to be more calm, I would be like, bro, absolutely, I'm gonna go in there and get you. Don't even worry about that. Just to calm him.
Yeah.
But you're not like that. You said I'm not going back. It's irrational.
No, I was in the middle of a debate. You know, and like he's
You
saying,
see what I'm
like,
saying?
What?
Like, why tell if people are overly emotional in a tense situation, it doesn't go well.
I didn't know that he was overly emotional. None of the guys are emotional, but
he reacted like that about that topic.
We were rehearsing something, and then
Oh.
Skip said, "Oh, this guy's dead," and so yeah, and then he turns us all around to go get the guy, and you could stop, you could call, you could pull out a yellow card anytime you want, stop the thing and say, "Hey, I think yada yada yada." So I'm like, this is not efficient.
Oh,
So
no,
what are
babe.
you doing? You know, we have XYZ. What the fuck are you doing? And he was like, well, you know, and I'm like, Skip said he's dead. He's dead. So what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, so I mean,
You know what?
It's never happened in real life. I don't know what I would do in real life. You know what I'm saying? I would know what I would want people to do if I got hit. You know what I'm saying? If I got hit, fucking leave, man. Do your thing. But I don't know what I would do in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's my brother, like, and I
If he
love
was
him
already gone?
and he's already, I don't know what I would do. I know what the smart thing to do is, but I don't know what I would actually do in real life. But when we're doing a rehearsal, then just do what you're supposed. Do what the smart thing to do is. Don't do the fucking emotional thing.
I'm pretty sure
He had spent so much time on the other side. He had spent so much time on the other side that he was all
mixed up.
He was all emotional. Oh,
Oh.
nobody gets left behind. Blah blah. I'm like, that's bullshit. Lots of people get left behind. That's just that's a you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
And then we had some guys from UK come and talk to us or whatever. It was the same shit. They're like, yeah, just fucking leave him behind. He's dead. Served his
I
purpose.
mean, yeah.
You know, but yeah.
I literally would not want. Well, of course, I'm not in a situation like that. So that's one thing I'm realizing is you think you know what you're going to do in a given situation, but I think lots of people are shocked once they get into a situation to see what they're actually going to do.
Yeah.
Would
and,
you
and
say
it's like what we were talking about at the gym yesterday, where it would actually, and I think Ranger would agree with me on this, if it was the right tactical decision to make, it would actually be harder to leave your brother than to save your own skin if you're in certain outfits. Like, so for example, Ranger Bat, those guys are, you know what I'm saying? For the Army, they're acceptable. Shout out to the U.S. Army. It takes a lot more discipline to do that and say that. That's why you always say your mission is most important. You know, you just want to do that. You know, it was a rude awakening to me because the UK guys are like, Americans, you guys are just so emotional, blah blah blah. You know, like war and emotions don't mix, yada yada yada. And of course, we came with a completely different philosophy. You know, so like when you're teaching, you know, they're different. Some have the perspective of you need to be stoic and completely take your other schools of thought are this is the most primal you can be. So if you can find a way to be efficient at firing but still primal and have that kind of then that's the so there's debates at the academic level about how you're supposed to train warfare and how you're supposed to work. So these guys had already had this sort of stoic, you know, hey, you know, like one of them actually, it was a big famous story in their outfit where basically the guy told his friends, leave me behind. It was a 4-man team and the SAS, they're like they're the guys that started all this shit.
Right.
All of this shit. There'd be nothing without those guys.
Okay.
So like it was a legendary. I mean, it was a true story. Like one of those guys was on the end, but the guy was like, "Yeah, just leave me." And
did they?
Yeah, they left him.
How bad off was he?
He died. He shot like 2 of those people, and then they killed him.
And they killed him.
But he got him enough time
to be able to get away.
You know, whatever.
Yeah.
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 But
you remember that?
But to his point, it would take mega discipline to do that. But it was the right thing for them to do. That was the right thing to do. It was. I'm sorry. But why do we have a tomb of an unknown soldier and all the rest of it if nobody gets left behind? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, I guess you always figured he got separated and nobody knew where he was.
Well, we didn't stay there until we got him, right? Like,
yeah.
People get left. It's just not true. People get left behind all the time.
You know that book? Like, it's like The Art of War or something, or The Art of Death, or one of those.
What the Sun Tzu or On Killing?
On Killing. On Killing?
Yeah. Hey,
What was his
275.
perspective?
Did you ever read On Killing?
What was his perspective? Does he think you should be stoic or emotional?
He's on the
stoic.
He's more of a he's more surgical about it. And when you hear him talk, he's extremely surgical. Like it's hey.
I feel like depending on what you're gonna do, there has to be a mix. I don't know. I've never been in a situation like that, but I would say that if like when you watch.
Yeah, so he read On Killing as well. Did they make you read The Prince?
But whenever you say On Killing, it sounds like you're saying unkilling. UN.
Yeah, it's a genre of books. It's like, on YouTubing or whatever.
Oh,
so
like
it's
On Killing.
Grossman On Killing. Yeah.
Oh,
so
it's kind of like the for dummies books, gardening for dummies, DOS for dummies.
I disagree with a lot of what he says in On Killing. The linchpin study was proven to be complete bullshit. Well, that's what happens when you rely on only one study. I wouldn't say it was complete bullshit. I think it's one of those situations where a lot of the things that he was saying was right at the 10,000 foot level, and then when you get down to the details of things, and the other thing is, I'm not sure Grossman has taken into account the mind of anybody from Generation X on down, like our generation. We're at the edge of X and millennials, but so I'm not sure, but we were not killers. You know what I'm saying? Like Rangers were killers. Like we weren't supposed to be killers. You know what I'm saying? We were supposed to be, whatever. So it's just different. But yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you about whatever, but I understand the 10% number. The 10% number is exaggerated.
Okay, we don't know what the 10%
Okay, so
is.
it's basically, we looked at these things and guys weren't shooting each other. They weren't killing people. So how do we get them to be better killers? Okay. Right? That was the idea.
Yeah.
And
I remember
the
that.
10% number is massively exaggerated. Although I will say the numbers, there's a similar situation in regard to the Civil War. The reason I don't think, and other people have criticized this with Grossman as well, the issue is with the Civil War is that you had people who are literally fighting their brothers or countrymen, that type of thing. So hesitation in doing something permanent is understandable and is something that needs to be taken into account.
100%.
But there are other things, like, for example, the medal system is a way to deal with the conscience of the fact that you've crossed the ultimate taboo line. I think that is in play. I think...
The medal? What?
Medals, medals. You got the Silver Star, Valor Device, that type of thing. Like, we're going to reward you for killing because your entire life we've told you that killing was the ultimate wrong. And now we're telling you that it's the best thing you could do. And now we have to reward you for it because your conscience is going to fuck with you for the rest of your life. And so that ritual is designed to reintegrate the guy into society after you've broken the ultimate rule that society told you not to break. So I do think I think that is also important information to know, for sure.
Just a side note on that, which probably maybe means something to only a small portion of people. But when you think of purity culture and how you're told never have sex.
Yes,
that makes you impure, and then all of a sudden, but there's no trophy.
Right.
You get married, you have sex, now all of a sudden you're like, what? You're like dirty. You're not a virgin anymore. You're dirty.
Right.
But there's no trophy involved. So it's like, what are you supposed to do with this? Yeah.
It's your first time, so it's not very good. You know what I'm saying? It's just not a very good experience.
I don't think that it's the first time not a good experience. I think it just depends on what the person like. I think it comes down to what's going on inside the mind and hearts and souls of the two people involved, and I think it can be a pretty shitty experience if the person, all they really have learned of sexuality is what they've gotten from porn. So
yeah.
But anyway, when you said the medals thing and how important that is for the person psychologically, I was like, okay, this is part of the reason why the purity culture is so bad. So,
yeah, but that was a big argument. I think we ended up. I think we got physical. I'm not sure, but. It is what it is. Shout out to the homie. He was. I mean, but I was right.
Yeah.
If we have to get into some big dramatic thing like that, then it's not a good job. I'd be like, well, you'd be off the team. If we lived through that shit, you put us in that situation, you'd be gone. Go back to the army.
Your eye. You want to get it?
Huh?
You have like a fuzz that's about to get into your eye.
Yeah, I was just like, well, I mean,
if you fuck shit up for us, you just go back to the army, man. Go shoot to your heart's content. You want to be a shoot? Go shoot to your heart's content, man. Of course, I was the youngest kid, so yeah. But you know how I am. I really, really like this song though. Musically, it was crazy. The musicianship in this band is insane.
Okay, I do have.
And
to
the
bring
way
up
that
one
he
more.
described, just one thing right here. The foe is never sleeping. I see them crawling near, biding their time, collecting forces, aiming. That shit right there must have been horrifying. Like,
I'm sorry. I was reading my line. Can
the
you
flow
read
is
yours again?
clinching the fingers tightly, counting remaining rounds.
Oh, yeah.
That is. Whew.
Yeah, so you're going to
I
make
pray
each
for
one
my
count.
woman and my child. Smell the fear around me. Embrace in leather bounds. I hope my body is never found. The foe is never sleeping. I see them crawling near, biting. That should be biding their time. Collecting forces. That's just terrible, man. That's just a terrible.
We fight till death or we stack corpses.
Terrible feeling. Terrible feeling.
This part, were you saying more?
No, you're good.
Hands frozen and yet, okay, so I have to say, like, obviously I'm not like a big giant fan of like war and all that, but there is like a part of me that like wanted to join up, but I was too controlling of a person to even attempt to join any of those crews. But anyway, this said, hands frozen and yet I live and yet I kill. Heart pounding, I fight with iron will. Commander shouting, retreat! Time to give the torch to Kate. Engines roaring, she takes aim. A single note will be played. Her chant or roaring madness, rendering might a soldier's delight. They will forever witness demonic chant like Kate is our light. I mean, that is a pretty crazy.
But that's
set
his sister.
No, that's
right?
that's the bomb.
Oh,
Kate is the.
He read the
What?
do the read up again. Did you did a little read up at the beginning, right?
Yeah. It says.
He scrolls down where it says.
Right here, little Kate, etc. was slang term for the BM-8, BM-13, and BM-31. Katyushka rockets,
rockets. So then,
used to hammer the German foes.
Hold on, because
So they're losing, and so they're passing the torch to Kate, who's going to.
Right, it says Kate singing "Leave My Brothers Alone."
Yeah, the bomb is singing.
Right, I'm just saying it's such a brilliant.
They put it as
such a brilliant. I thought he was nicknaming his rifle.
Oh,
Kate. You know what I'm saying? This is my rifle. Shout out to all the Marines. Semper Fi. But yeah, man, like that right there. That whole scene, and then but the way he said it, that Kate was like saying, "Leave my brothers alone."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, leave my brothers alone.
Yeah.
That is a really, really interesting personification right there.
yeah.
Really interesting personification. Which makes sense. It's called Katie because it's Katyusha or Katyusha, whatever it is. Shout out to Russia. I don't know much about y'all, what y'all do. But yeah, I love this song. This song is an easy 10 for me. 10 and a half maybe.
Wow,
really good
okay.
song. Really good song. And I'm almost sorry for the song that's going to follow it. Because it's almost certain to not be at this level. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with a 9.75.
Good. And our stream didn't drop this time, so that's good. So
So
there you
maybe that
are,
worked.
there, listener. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.